Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to be here with you today to say a few words in introduction to today's panel discussion. The decisions we take today are the legacy we leave for future generations. This goes for individuals, but also for businesses. And indeed, there are many challenges we are facing right now. Mr. Zein already mentioned a few: the climate crisis, poverty, inequality, and the loss of biodiversity. Those problems can only be solved by a joint effort of obviously the government, but also of businesses, civil society, and the individual himself. And we clearly face a shift right now in the way we think about business and sustainability. People are more and more aware of the impact that the decisions they take and the decisions of businesses impact the environment and also people's life. And companies, they do have the power, on the one hand, to contribute to, but most importantly, to mitigate the risks around human rights and the climate crisis. In the way they source raw materials, in the way they manufacture goods, in the way they ship their products, and also in the way they dispose their waste. The businesses have their role to play, but also the Luxembourg government has its role to play in the way we address this challenge and in the way we promote human rights and businesses. We signed numerous treaties on human rights, everyone knows this, that's for sure. But given the open economy in Luxembourg, right from the start of the discussions around the directive, we favoured European solutions, because we know that businesses who work in Luxembourg in their daily lives, they are in contact with businesses all around Europe, and it would be not manageable for them to have 27 different pieces of legislation. And this is what we achieved. We have the text on the European level. This is not the first legislation we have. We faced an evolution over the past years. I mean, the United Nations guiding principle on human rights and businesses paved the way. So did the Corporate Responsibility for Sustainability Directive, the CSDDD. It's easier to use acronyms in this way. And this change how we perceive business and sustainability is fully embodied also in the Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive, the CSDDD. The EU has taken a very important step in this regard. And it's really important to mention that this is really a truly binding instrument. So we're really moving from standards on the one hand to obligations, and that's very welcoming. I hope that other countries and also other regions might join us in our efforts. But in any case, we have an impact even beyond the borders of the European Union, as a lot of companies work with other companies around the world in their supply chains who have to comply. Companies that work outside the European Union but that sell to European business will have to comply with the principles of the directive. So we have an influence also beyond our borders. Just a few words maybe also about what is the CSDDD eventually about. But it's a call to action to businesses to take their responsibility for social and environmental impact of their operations. Companies are required to perform a due diligence in their operations and to address also the adverse impact of their operations. In concrete terms, it means that they have to identify risks of abuse and violations linked to their activities and also the activities of their partners. They have to implement preventive and corrective measures, and then they have to report transparently on their actions through a due diligence plan, and in the end they also have to provide answers to their breaches. For companies, this is really a unique opportunity, but it is also a challenge, and we have to clearly say this. Companies have to carry out in-house assessments regarding all the risks in this regard. Obligations apply to the whole supply chain, as I already mentioned. So it's the upstream part, of course, it's the production, it's the supply, but it's also the downstream part. It's the part they distribute and they transport their products. And not only the companies that are within the scope are really concerned by those obligations. Therefore, it is really important that we have a proportionate standard here, that we only apply the necessary administrative burden to companies in order to not overburden them. This government has really said that it wants to do efforts to simplify administrative procedures, and in this context, the government intends to invite businesses to follow their procedures digitally. It also plans to support businesses in the implementation of the CSDDD by providing them the necessary resources, training, and also a clear framework, because this is really important that they know what they signed up for. We're currently working in different ministries on the transposition of this text with the Minister of Economy, and I mean you had the opportunity to discuss with him, who is in the lead of this implementation. So there are major challenges because the new measures, they need to be accepted by companies. The instrument can only be effective if the companies accept that they have to do it. Otherwise, we might create a disproportionate burden, eventually leading to the directive being ineffective, because we achieve the opposite result. We hope that the way we manage to have, that in this way we manage to have an influence on what is happening also around us, so at the global level, instead of having European business losing influence. That would not be what we want to achieve, because it undermines the promotion of ESG in the event. So in conclusion, I mean, the CSDDD is a unique opportunity for businesses. It comes with challenges, yes, but we have to address them jointly, and I really hope on everyone to be joining this effort. I wish you interesting discussions today. I am not, unfortunately, available the whole afternoon because I have other meetings, but I will be staying for a few more minutes. Thank you very much.